Welcome back to another episode of Gumball Love. I'm your host, Melissa Ledger. All right, today we're going to talk all about drama and how the Gumball Guy or Gumball Girl, I want you to start thinking about all relationships, how people use drama to get attention. And when this is alarming in a relationship, when you should be counting this as a red flag, and also when you can start observing this behavior. One thing I really teach all of my clients in the Back to You Academy, and if you work with me privately, I really teach you how to observe this behavior before you get caught up in reacting to it. And you will be able to observe it so much more effectively. I really go deep into this in the Academy and when we coach one-on-one of how to stay rooted in yourself and observe the behavior before you start becoming defensive, before you start to fight, before you get offended by what they're saying. You can stop and say, wait a minute, this isn't right. Like, I'll give you an example. A few months ago, I was talking to a guy. We were just flirting, and all of a sudden, his ex started coming up, and there was a lot of pain from the ex and a lot of stories about the ex. And it was like, okay, buddy, you're kind of killing the vibe here. You know, like, let's not talk about the ex. And so then I was trying to like get past that. And then all of a sudden he just shut down and he was like, good night, I'm going to go to bed. And I remember I was standing there and looking at my phone going, good night, I'm going to bed. It was his way of storming out via text. And I looked at that and I knew this is what's so beautiful. And I want to coach all of you so you feel this way. I stood there and thought, wow, the old me would think, what did I do wrong? What did I say? I would have scrolled back. I would have overthought it. And I just thought, oh, that's too bad. He was feeling vulnerable. He was still wounded from the ex. The vulnerability of getting closer to me was making him feel like it was bringing out anger because he didn't like the vulnerability. And so all of a sudden he kind of lashed out. He wanted to bite. It's like a wounded dog in a cage. Sometimes they let you pet them and other times they don't. And so it's like, I have this hand gesture where all of a sudden, like, your hands were on the wheel and then all of a sudden you go, whoa, hands are off the wheel, opening the car door, getting out of this car. Because that person, A, is not ready. It's not okay to storm out. It's really immature and it's dramatic, right? And the same dude said, I don't like any drama. It's so funny to me when they do that. It's like, oh, really? You didn't like drama? I go, so flirting with you was drama, you know, like, but they don't understand that they're creating the drama because they're getting upset and they don't have the awareness, right? So this is the part where we have to look at a person that's accusing us of drama or getting moody or storming out or stonewalling. A lot of times they cannot see that they're doing that. And so you'll tell them, hey, you're doing XYZ. And then they'll accuse you of the same thing. And that's when you know, when you're like, hey, why are you doing this? Or you're doing XYZ. And they're like, well, you're doing it too. No. I can't be doing it too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if someone can't recognize and have the awareness right out in the moment or even a little bit later, you know you're not dealing with somebody that can have that awareness in multiple conversations. And so I'm trying to make this a long story short. When I looked at that, I thought, okay, wounded, not over the ex, simple conversation, should be able to just flirt and have fun. And also, it wasn't at a point where anything needed to be serious. It was very much in the initial flirtation phase. And so he took the experience and made it really serious. And it was like, no, we were just having fun. And it was a bummer, right? Because when you're attracted to them and you're enjoying it and then they kill the buzz, it's a bummer. However, you can take a step back and go, okay, is this guy capable? What does this type of response really mean? It means I'm not ready for a relationship. I'm unable to have fun in the flirtation process. You guys, let me just tell you as a side note, relationships should be fun. The beginning part especially should be fun. It's all like getting to know each other and just having fun and doing all the things, having all the first conversations, learning about each other. It really shouldn't get serious. And yes, there are points in a conversation or in the courtship where you stop and you have a discussion like, hey, I'm starting to have feelings. Of course, that's normal. But even at that point, it doesn't have to be so heavy. It doesn't have to be so, oh my gosh, we're going to get married. We're going to have kids. What are we going to do? I feel like the online dating has created this fill out a form. Let's look at our stats. Let's look at where we've been. Let's look at where we are. Where are we going? And on the first date, people are asking really weird questions like, well, do you think you want to have kids? Do you think do you want to be married? Have you been married before? And it's like, whoa, what are we doing? What are we doing? It's so weird. Like, why aren't we just having fun conversation and having the patience to just keep getting to know each other? If you both keep coming back, you both keep wanting to know more, then go with it and just have fun. But see, people that are closed off emotionally or emotionally unavailable will start to create drama. Do you know why? Because what I just described to you, the fun, the ease, the enjoyment of just the everyday, they can't enjoy it. And I want you to refer back to what is the gumball and what is he craving? Like, what is the high? Because drama will create that intense heroin-like dopamine release in the brain that will then intensify the experience. So had I chased him, had I said, what's going on? What's the matter? I'm so sorry. I didn't have anything to be sorry about. Raise your hand right now if you have said you're sorry when you really shouldn't have been sorry. Why should I be sorry? But I would say, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for you to crawl in a hole like a little bitch baby. Like, what are you doing? And it's just like, why are you crawling in the hole? It's so disappointing, right? Like, oh, okay, we were having banter and then you got scared and then you're running off. I'm not sorry. But I used to be sorry. I used to feel so bad for them. Oh, come on. Oh, I'm showing you in your little hole. Oh, come out. It's going to be okay. No more. Because I always come back to my alpha dog. Where's my alpha? Do we have any alpha dogs in the house? The alpha, he's ready. He's looking for the alpha female. Look up alpha wolf. When you put alpha wolves, just Google alpha wolves. It's so great. The first definition, alpha wolves consist of the male and the female, and they lead the pack together. There's not one alpha male leading the pack. There's an alpha male and an alpha female because they have to create offspring to create other little alpha pups. So that's what you want I want immediately for you to think, as soon as there's drama, there's stonewalling, or he starts to create drama, that's an immediate sign to you, okay, wait. We've interrupted regularly scheduled programming to now interject a false sense of a high, a gumball, to soothe something else. So in that case, this guy needed drama because he's angry and he wanted to get high off of the chemical release in his brain, which he probably isn't even aware that this is going on. So he wanted to create a fight with the rush, get the hit, and then he'll be able to calm down. And when you don't offer that, when you're like, no, not gonna play, they don't get the rush. And then they get more irritated. And actually, sometimes they don't respond. I just didn't even respond to this guy at all. And 2 weeks later, I get a message. How's life? It's like, so lame. Hello, not an alpha. So this is how you evaluate this. You go, okay, if normally scheduled programming is not sufficient, if you can't flirt, if you can't just move down the path in the normal, natural way, and they immediately have to create drama, I want you to stop and go, okay, what did I do in this situation? Because I know a lot of us have PTSD from a lot of these different experiences. And I really believe there is, I mean, I know people overuse the term PTSD but I really believe there is huge anxiety for me even that comes in these situations, because I used to deal with this behavior all the time, and I have to stop and I have to say, okay, Melissa, what's going on? Let's stop. Let's look at this. This is not appropriate at the time. What were you doing? What led up to this? And how can we stop it? And so, I even sent a nice message to him, and I said, hey, I even said, this happened, and then you did this. And so then it got weird. And so I don't know why that happened. And he didn't know how to respond. They don't know how to respond to, hey, I'm just going to be straight with you. This is how it is. And so I don't know what to do with that. Because see, they're used to people feeding into the drama. So let's say in a different situation, he picks a fight with you, which in that situation too, they are a lot of times picking fights, or there are slight digs like, I thought you wouldn't be like other women. So then I have to defend myself, and it creates like, I can't believe you would say that, because when a guy says, I thought you wouldn't be like other women, he tells you you're not special. You're just like everybody else. So now you have to prove that you're not. So, but after all this studying, if you're with somebody and you don't feel like they're special, like, let me take a step back. When you get back to you and you know who you are, you know what you bring to the table, and you know that you have a unique group of your personality. There's nobody like you. So when you meet a guy who's attracted to you physically and you're enjoying conversation, he can't just go find that tomorrow with another girl easily. And so when you know that and you really sit with that, and then he just can group you into a category of all other women in an instant, that means he's not seeing the value immediately. So, but we're tempted to get offended. And if you do, you do. I mean, it's hard, right? When you're attracted to somebody, you're in the heat of it. You're trying to, you're creating all the rapport and the connection, and then they throw this at you. It's very painful. So I don't want you to have the illusion that, yes, you'll have all this knowledge, but you're still a human being. It's still going to hurt. But you know what? I tell them it hurts. Wow, that's really painful to hear that. Like, that really hurts my feelings. Instead of being defensive, instead of going off the charts, yeah, that hurts my feelings. That's really tough to hear. I'm sorry that you feel that way. And then you could say to a guy, I'm sorry that if you feel like I'm all other women, that means that what I bring to the table isn't unique and special to you. And so it just shows me that we don't sync up. And that's unfortunate. I thought we could, but it looks like we don't. You take it away. Do you see how there's no drama there? Like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. You hurt my feelings. And it's really unfortunate. I want you to think of when a guy doesn't show up, or you can tell he wants to, but then he just punks out. Instead of feeling like, what did I do wrong? I want you to say instead, gosh, that's really too bad. In your mind even. You don't have to say it to him. Man, it's really too bad that you're like that, or that he's like that. I really wanted it to be different. And it's super disappointing that it can't be. But not like, oh my gosh, what did I do wrong? And how did I attract this guy? Like, look, we're going to attract a lot of different people. And we cannot be detectives trying to sniff out every red flag all the time. We have to let go. Look, if you're having a good time, you can have fun with Gumball Guys for a while. Sometimes it is really fun. And if you're not seeing red flags, you're not seeing red flags. And if you want to, so funny, the big horn honks as I say, you're not seeing red flags. So if you want to get better at seeing them, if you want to hone your skills, if you feel like you're really susceptible, then that's going to show up when you're dating, because you're going to feel too nervous. And basically what it means is you feel like you can't trust yourself. And this is a weird way to say it. Not really weird way, but if you can't trust yourself, you don't have confidence in yourself. So self-confidence is about trusting yourself. Self-confidence comes from when I say I go to the gym, I go to the gym. But if I don't trust myself. So that depletes my confidence. I actually did a podcast with Tony Marinucci. I can't remember if you go back several episodes about losing weight. And Tony Marinucci is a registered dietitian. I actually was just on her podcast for Valentine's Day. And we talked about how confidence doesn't come from weight loss. It comes from the journey of choosing yourself over and over again and building that up. And so as I'm teaching you these things, that's why I have the academy, to kind of bring you into a group and say, okay, let's really work on this so that you can be ready faster, that you can see these signs quicker, that you can feel a sense of confidence and feel solid. And even if you are feeling vulnerable and like you're falling in love, you're going to know when you need to make the decision, when you have to make it. Like if you have to walk away, even if you're falling in love, you're going to know. And it's not going to make it easy, but at least it will be clear. You know what I mean? And that's what I want for you. I want your decisions to be clear. And so when you're not seeing the red flags and you are enjoying yourself and you are getting the validation from the guy in a calm every day, like, hey, we're just living everyday life. We're connecting with each other. We're sharing ideas in our day and everything is smooth waters. You can know and feel satisfied with that. Because people that are always creating drama, when we're in gumball love relationships, where it's dramatic and exciting and it's fights and it's up and down. I call this the good, bad, and ugly stage, where it's good for a while, then it gets ugly, or gets bad, and then it gets ugly and there's fights. We're getting high in all these areas. And sometimes when you're fighting, then you make up and then you get all this reassurance about the relationship. And it's like gumballs, 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 gumballs. But then after that experience is over, people can tend to feel like they need that hit again. And so they create more drama. So I want you to always think about, what is the craving? Like, what are they trying to get a reaction? Are they trying to stimulate? So there's stimulant, there's reaction, there's high, there's take away pain, increase pleasure, stimulate. The gumball does, I should have said this in the gumball thing. I'm telling you guys, in the gumball podcast I just did, there's so many aspects of what makes somebody high. And so I wish I would have said the word stimulant. So I'm saying it now, that the gumball is a stimulant. And we as the girls also have to recognize that when we have dated guys who have constantly given us stimulants, because they communicate in the same language, that we are also susceptible to having this expectation in a relationship, having the expectation that, well, we should be doing XYZ by now. He should be saying this or he should be doing that. It's like, well, should he? Because let's take a step back and look at, where are you in the relationship? Have you been talking for a couple of weeks? And are we already expecting a full-on relationship? This guy barely knows you. You know what I mean? Like, and that's okay for him to barely know you. And if we don't know each other well, we can't fall in love with each other because we don't know enough. We can like what we see. We want to keep going. And it's tiny layer, like an onion, tiny layer after tiny layer after tiny layer. And then eventually the love is built. The foundation is there. It's secure. It's stable, but it doesn't all get just advanced to you before you've had a chance to build it. It's just like if you were to go to an empty lot and bring windows for a house. The construction person would be like, oh, we don't put windows in for, a few months. Be like, what? We're building a house. I need windows in my house, don't I? Well, yeah, but we got to dig a hole first. Dig a hole? What? I'm building a house. I'm not, like if you didn't understand how the house was built, like if you've ever built a house, I've built two, where they dig the hole and then you feel like you go out and stare at the hole forever. And you're like, how many times am I going to drive out here? Every day you're like, okay, there's the basement. It's just like, and you keep feeling like, what is actually happening right now? Like, I don't even feel like they're doing anything, but they are. They're building the foundation, and that hole, and then the beams and the structure, and then they pour the basement. And then what's holding the whole house is built in that first stage. And then it seems like after you get to the stick stage, where you can kind of see through the house, but the drywall isn't hung yet. It feels like from that stage until the house is done is so fast, and that foundation part took a long time. But it takes a while to build support. You have to build friendship, and friendship is consistency over time. It's being there every day, day in, day out, and being able to rely and depend on people. That consistency drives a drama person nuts. They aren't able to, they're not able to be satisfied without the drama. So it tells you, okay, are they calling you crazy? Are they picking on you for small things? Are they saying things like, why are you so feisty? Why are you so high maintenance? Why do you pick that over that? I don't understand why you're doing that. Like the guy that picks on you, I call this pick, where it's like you feel like you can't be in their presence without them trying to find something wrong. Something in your car, something in your house, something with your clothes, how you have your dog or your cat, or the way you drive somewhere. They're always trying to just push the envelope and create drama in some way. I'm watching these YouTubers that are always pranking each other. And I wonder, in these relationships, like these couples, there's all these couples doing YouTube videos and they're always pranking each other. And I'm thinking, is the high about the prank and because they're putting each other through these extreme emotional situations. I'm hoping they're all acting them out. I think they are. But regardless, it's like there's always a high, there's always a rush. And your relationship, in reality, it just isn't like that. Think about your life when you're single. What are you doing? You're getting up in the morning, you have your coffee, you walk the dogs, you go to the gym, you do your work, you do the laundry, you pay your bills. Right now we're doing taxes. Life is not about highs. It's about staying steady. It should be like, life is like a straight line. It's a steady and we want that steady and secure line. Not that we don't enjoy highs, but it's just like when we go on vacation. We love being on vacation, but every time vacation comes to an end, you're like, you know what? I'm really glad I'm going back home. We're ready to go home. We're ready to get back to our routine. We like our routine. We like to work. We like to feel a sense of accomplishment. And so that's what should be normal. We should be craving normalcy and steadiness. So when someone is, another thing the guy will do is compliment other women. And again, this is to get a reaction. I always want you to think sometimes the Gumball Guy is sitting there with sort of a cynical face because he knows what he's doing is going to get you pissed off or he's going to get you fired up. And if they enjoy watching you get fired up and they're instigating it to where you feel mad or upset or uncomfortable, that's somebody who is enjoying the high of getting you fired up instead of having a legitimate reason. Not going to say that fights happen, arguments happen, disagreements happen all the time. People say things they shouldn't say. And so those conversations are normal. But if you know how it is when some guy's smiling at you ooh, you're feisty. And you're like, well, I'm only feisty. And then you get that irritated, defensive feeling. And then he's kind of laughing at you. That's the guy that wants drama. And then your reaction will be dramatic. And then he'll say, I just can't deal with the drama. This is your classic gaslighter. So the guy that likes drama is often someone who picks on you, creates scenarios that make you angry, and then blames you for having a reaction to what they instigated. That is the definition of gaslighting, where they are the instigator and then they blame you for it. So it makes you start to feel like things are your fault. So there's lots of things around drama. So drama makes everything more dramatic, right? So anytime a situation is more dramatic than it should be, I want you to just take a step back. Whatever situation you're in, if you're texting, you can just set the phone down and step away for even a few minutes. Because someone who wants drama is going to give you question mark, question mark, question mark. Are you there? Or you're just going to leave? What are you doing? Are you ignoring me? Are you talking to somebody else? That's the quarter. Give me the gumball. I want drama, drama, drama. Give me my dopamine. Increase my pain or increase my pleasure, decrease my pain. Give me the drug, 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 drug. So if you hold off, if you want to know if you have an addict, don't give them the drug and see what the reaction is. Because if we're not an addict and a dramatic situation happens or a fight, we should be able to cool ourselves down. But as I talked to you in the last episode about what a gumball is, we can only cool ourselves down if we have awareness that we may have a lack of ability to calm ourselves down naturally. As I was reading this and I was thinking about how, I don't know. I wish we could all look at the size of our hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is the part of the brain that can receive the calming chemicals, the serotonin. So when we're angry, we calm ourselves down. The chemicals are releasing and absorbing into the hypothalamus like a sponge. But some people that have had extreme childhood neglect have a smaller hypothalamus, and they're not able to do that as well as somebody else that did not have the neglect or go through childhood trauma. So what if you went through childhood trauma? It's going to be natural for you to seek out drama and increase the intensity of the conversation, because that when drama happens or you increase intensity, that's when the dopamine gets released. So there's calming chemicals like serotonin that happen first, but then if you activate the pituitary gland, that's what releases the dopamine, that's what releases the good brain drugs. And that's what will ultimately be calming or get you high. So that's where we want to look at ourselves and say, am I instigating drama because I'm feeling insecure? I'm feeling like I don't know how to handle this situation. Sometimes we just have anxiety. Okay, yeah. So the solution is being self-aware. If we had childhood neglect, if our hypothalamus is not the ideal size and development, and we have trouble calming ourselves down, we have to take extra steps to be more self-aware. And so then you want to even be watching it before you step in. Okay, I feel the tension rising. I need to walk away. I need to take a break. I need to let myself calm down, because if I'm triggered and I get into this conversation, I'm going to follow my old patterns. This can also happen to you when you're talking to a nice guy. I've talked to nice guys before and blown things out of proportion because it was an old habit. And so now, like I told you in the story before, there's so much control over it, because you know what's so fun about now is I'm so ready for fun. I'm so ready for just to relax and really enjoy someone and just see where it goes, see what happens, go on dates, go on vacations, and just keep going and enjoying the fun. Because yes, the feelings will all develop over time, but there should just be a pure enjoyment of the other person. And so the drama is now easy to really take a step back and look at it, because it's like, yeah, I'm at a place and I want to get you to this place where you're just content with your life, content with your job, content with, your trajectory. You have goals and dreams. Maybe I'm not exactly where I want to be, but I'm very content with who I am, what I stand for, what I believe, the friends, family in my life. And look, it took me a while to build it. And I feel like I was blindfolded in the dark trying to figure it out. Thank God for my therapist that really turned on so many lights and took the blindfold off and helped me see that much faster. However, I didn't have the wisdom to understand how valuable what he was saying was. And I was just in my own healing journey as well. And so we all have our own path. We all have our own steps through the journey. And so this is what this is designed for you. Yes, we can look at it and go, okay, we have an attention addict. We have somebody who requires other people to soothe the pain and decrease, soothe the pain, and bring pleasure. But they cannot be addicted to the external way that happens. Like, yes, you can decrease someone's pain and you can increase their pleasure, but if they're addicted to that itself and not you, not that they should be addicted to you, but they should be, it's like, it's just like our relationship with God. We can't be addicted to what God gives us. We want to be in the relationship with God so that we have that love for him. And so that relationship then is what we connect to. I'll just tell you on a personal level, when I pray and I connect to God, it's for the love, the communication, the relationship. Yes, God blesses us with certain things, blesses me with a lot of things. However, it's not like you pray to get the blessing and the stuff. You're not praying for the stuff because you know that the stuff doesn't actually make you happy. It's the other things, right? It's the gratitude and appreciating other people and giving and using your gifts. I mean, there's all the things that really bring real happiness. But if we were able to pray to God and just get stuff, we would start probably getting addicted to just the items instead of understanding the loving God behind it. So if you believe in God, hopefully that resonates with you. If you don't, you can think of it like anything else, like a parent. Yes, your parent provides for you, provided for you when you were a kid. And maybe you're a mother, you're providing for your kid, but your kid isn't like, Mom, I really love you because you gave me a Barbie. They love you because of you, because you're there for them when they're sick. You're there for them when you pick them up from school. You're there for them when you have conversations. You're their support system. There's so much more to it. And so you want to be looking at someone like, are they seeing me or are they seeing what I do for them? Are they taking the tangibles and getting addicted, or are they actually connecting with me as a human being? And that's the journey. And so if they are connecting with you as a human being, then getting to know you process is the high. Because it's really nice when you're just enjoying the other person and loving conversation and connecting and laughing about things. That is a high. And it is plenty. You don't need these extreme highs to be happy in a relationship. You can have a very steady and wonderful experience, because every single happy couple I know, it's exactly what they describe. They are not describing any sort of a roller coaster whatsoever or mountaintop experiences. So when we watch The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, these fantasy suites and these mountaintop experiences, it's not real. These people crash so hard because reality will hit them, and now they're not flying around in helicopters. They're not having people go ahead of them, 6 hours and set up a picnic in a random spot in, South America. It's just not reality, right? And so if we watch these kinds of shows and we have that kind of expectation, there's only one guy that can meet that. And that's a Gumball Guy, the guy that's addicted to the high. Because sometimes the Gumball Guy is so romantic and it's very fun. Don't get me wrong. Gumballs are great. Love being adored. Love all the schmoopy. It's fantastic. I mean, when you think about the yellow gumball that's entertained me and the chase me, who doesn't want to be chased and, having these amazing dramatic moments, having someone prove themselves to you. I mean, of course it can be a high, but it's only a high if you're starving. So I want you to also think about that. Are they starving? Is there a sense of urgency? Because when you're first getting to know each other, it's like gentle touches, easy, just easy, light, and then butterflies happen, and then it's butterflies happen. Yeah, it's fun, but it's not heavy, it's not extreme, it's not painful, it's not dramatic, it's not up and down. Just think of like still waters, like a leaf coming down to the ground, just easy. I want you to just think of light, easy, fun. And that's when you have somebody who is rooted in who they are. They know what they want. You're rooted in who you are. You know what you want. And so You're standing there on solid ground, on flat ground, not on these mountaintops, and it's enough, because otherwise it's impossible. This is why these relationships don't work, because you cannot sustain intensity. You can't be intense all the time. It's exhausting. So you're fighting, you're making up, then they're cheating. It's because they're always looking for the stimulant. So if you look at all of the gumballs, if he's bringing in another woman to compete with, then he needs the stimulant of competition. If he's feeling sorry for himself, then he's not willing to do the work, so he needs the pity, and that's his stimulant. Oh my gosh, you're so this, and he needs the pep talks and all the things that come around pity. Or he needs to be constantly entertained. You feel like you're always trying to be enough for him to stay interested, because what are you providing? Stimulant. And then sex, like we talked about in the last one, that can be a huge stimulant. I mean, it brings arousal, right? So it's always stimulating. But if that is the focus, it can be part of it. Sex is part of the relationship, but it can't be this laser focus on it all the time where it's always coming back to it. And so you shouldn't be having to adore them all the time and flooding them with compliments, proving yourself, and experiencing all this drama. It's unrealistic. So those are the 8 flavors. I want to focus on one, kind of remind you of the other 7, and keep reminding you of what this means. Do they want a stimulant? Do they want to get high? Are they trying to feel better? Where's the pain? Where's the pleasure? What am I actually helping this person fix? And actually, you could really look at somebody and say, Tony Robbins has been saying this for a long time. People move for 2 reasons: to avoid pain or gain pleasure. And so the stimulant, the sugar high, comes from those. So when you look at, okay, how does this person avoid pain and gain pleasure? We want to be avoiding pain by eating right and working out, right? So that will avoid physical pain. We want to avoid pain by healing and doing the proper work on ourselves, so we don't go into a relationship and have them try to soothe our pain. So when you look at somebody that's doing these things, ask yourself, what is the pain they're trying to soothe? What keeps coming up? Like I told you about the guy before, my ex, my ex, my ex. He's trying to soothe the pain of getting over the ex. An insecure version of me would have thought, I need to prove myself. I need to compete with the ex. So I would have been giving him the green gumball. I would have been green with envy, right? Green makes the green gumball represents envy and feeling like you have to compete with somebody else. So I would have started competing. I would have started chasing. I would have started trying to prove myself, which is the white gumball. And so do you see immediately how just someone who is in pain will then require all these extra sugar highs and stimulants just to stay at a normal level? And the whole time, I think in the past, I would be like, okay, here's a green gumball, here's a white gumball, here's an orange gumball. We've had drama. I've competed with her. I've proved myself. I've adored you. I've given you the pink gumballs of compliments. Is that enough now? Are you satisfied? Now can we have fun? It would be like, now can we get back to where it was? Are you good? Are you good? Are you good? Do you see how you're doing all the work? It's not how it's supposed to be. You should be able to give almost none, and it's still fun. Like, what is it like when you don't have to entertain somebody, when there's no drama, no pity, you're not chasing them, and you're not having sex all the time either, right? I mean, that can't be a constant. You'd be exhausted. And you shouldn't be proving yourself or feeling like when you don't have to do any of that stuff, what are you doing? It seems like, what are we doing, right? But you're just enjoying each other for the everyday stuff. So I'm going to wrap up there, because enjoying each other for the regular everyday stuff is the opposite of what someone is seeking drama will want from you in a relationship. And so although it is tempting to get caught up in it, and look, I've failed many times. I've gotten caught up in it. I've taken the bait, so to speak. They put the quarter in and they cranked the dial and I served up the gumball in the exact flavor they want. Because when you have dated these guys, been around these types of people, coworkers, bosses, often we've attracted gumball people in all aspects of our lives. It's difficult to then immediately just stop feeding into this behavior. We've developed patterns of feeding into this behavior. And so it just takes experiences one after the other. So don't beat yourself up. You can be like, oh, I guess I gave the gumball there. And then go back through it and go, okay, how did I give the gumball? Where did it start? Go back through the text messages. Go back through the conversation. Where did I give into it? And then ask yourself, okay, when could I have stopped that initially? Because you'll start to see it coming. Like, oh, okay. You'll feel the tension. You can feel energy through text. I can feel energy through text. Like I feel when I'm losing. I don't know. This is just maybe not everyone's like this, but I don't know. I know I can feel tension. I can feel that happening. And so when your gut instinct is saying, yep, something's off here, I'm feeling it, then trust that and don't feed into it. Even if you feel offended, you don't have to respond in a dramatic way. You can just, okay, I'm going to back away. Like I had a situation with a coworker where he called and he was immediately emotional. Well, there's nothing in our full-time jobs that justifies that level of emotion. And it was way too high, way too early. And I just knew I love to debate. Let me tell you, I would have loved to rip into the guy. However, I know, wants drama and not going to feed into it. Because here's the thing too, as you go through the healing process, I can tell you that now drama really, I feel almost wimpy because drama or arguments or things that are very high emotion, they really upset me because I just don't have it going on in my life. And so when it happens, it's like very disruptive to me. And so it also, as much as I have the witty comeback, I don't enjoy it. It really just like gets my whole spirit disturbed, and it takes me a long time to normalize and get to where I feel good again. And so, but I remember living in a lifestyle where there was constant drama. There was always something going on, and I got used to being that turbulent. And so when we come out of those turbulent interactions and we just evaluate them one at a time. And look, if you're just hearing this and it's fairly new to you, or you haven't heard me explain it in quite this way, that's why I say in my intro, you're encouraged to take the time that feels right for you. This is a customized journey. So if you work with me one-on-one or you do the Back to You Academy, this is what we go through. Okay, let's stop. Let's take a look. Where did this start? Where did you feed into it initially? So the next time you're going to see it faster. I always use the example, therapy is like this. Before therapy, you didn't see the hole and you just fell into it and you're at the bottom going, how did I get here? When you start therapy, you start to notice the hole, but you fall in it anyway. You see the hole, you walk up to it and you jump in. And then you're like, why did I do that? Well, that's because that's your pattern. So then there's the process of, okay, now I'm going to build a ladder out of this hole. Then the next step is you walk up to the hole and you're still looking down there. But then you're like, well, I don't know, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. There's like this. And then finally, the end, you just walk around it. You see it and you're like, yep, been down that hole. I know that experience. And every once in a while you have a slip up, but it takes a while. Sometimes we keep walking in there. And what I'll tell you is sometimes when you walk into the hole, be in the hole, look at it and go, what is this? Like when you're in an argument or you're in like a really ugly situation, or you get tempted and you're back with your ex again, or you hooked up with him again. Sometimes if you just sit in the moment and go, okay, I realize I screwed up. I realize I'm back here. Why am I back here? What's on the walls in this room of this hole that I'm in? And what has tempted me to be here? What is the reality of being here? Sometimes when the Gumball Guy comes back and it seems super exciting, and then all of a sudden you're at his place. Have you ever had the moment where you went back and then you're like, yeah, I don't want to be here. Why did I think this was so exciting? That's when you took some time to look around in the hole and go, yeah, I can see why I fall in this hole. Seems fun at first, but when I'm in here, it's like, this sucks. I hate this hole. I'm not going to be here again. And that's when you love yourself enough to just not beat yourself up for being in there. So what? We all do it. We don't have to beat yourself up for it. Like, stop the shame and just go, okay, yep, back in the hole again. And here's what I'm going to learn. And then we're going to move forward. And that's how you make progress. You would never tell your friend, I cannot believe you're in that hole again. This is ridiculous. You're wasting all your time, blah, blah. You would never not talk to your friend that way. You have to talk to yourself that way. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Who cares? Nothing bad happened. Or if something bad happened, what do we do to fix it? How do we move forward? And that's it. Even if you hook up with your ex and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I had sex with my ex again. What am I going to do? It's like, okay, well, you do all the stuff you have to do. Go get yourself checked for STDs. Make sure you didn't get pregnant. Did you take all the precautions? Like, what is the reality? Are there physical repercussions? What happened? And then you can dig yourself back out and you can get back on track. It's not the end of the world when you make these mistakes or you fall for the drama or you feed into it. So drama is a lot of things. It's storming out. It's when he tries to make you jealous. He calls you crazy. He calls you names. He insults you. You pour your feelings out. And then he just says nothing to your text or, oh my God, he'll just go, OMG, you're so dramatic, right? You're trying so hard to reconcile, to solve the problem. And he refuses to even acknowledge it. Then you feel so like you're not even being seen or heard or valued. And so you keep fighting for it, and the fighting for it and the intensity and the drama is what he wants. And that's what is giving him the stimulant. That is what is decreasing his pain or increasing his pleasure in some way. So think of it. Am I stimulating him? Am I giving him pleasure? Am I taking away pain? And in what intensity level am I doing that? What is he getting from this? So when you're in a healthy relationship and you ask yourself, what does this guy get from this relationship? If a guy consistently comes back and interacts with you, but he's not really getting a high, it means he really likes you, not what you give him. And that's when you really have something. Okay? So let's end there. Thank you so much. I hope this is helpful. Let me know what you think of these flavors. I'm going to keep rolling these out and love hearing your feedback. Thank you for all your DMs and for your reviews of the podcast. I so appreciate every single review. You have no idea. This is so surreal to me every time there's a review. Anytime one of you reaches out to me on Instagram, I always ask, like, how did you hear about Gumball Love? Because I always love to know. So if you do DM me, say, hey, I found Gumball Love from my friend, and this is what I thought when I first heard it. I love hearing what you thought when you first heard it, and any light bulb moments or ahas, or when you're able to let go of an ex, or you're able to get through a breakup. I mean, so many of you are like, Melissa, you have no idea. This is saving me. And I just I can hardly take it in because it's so overwhelming. The gratitude I have for the ability to do this mission with the grace that God gives me, all of the ideas that he put into my mind as I was writing this and creating this content. This is so God-given. And this is me doing the work, doing his work through me. And you are getting the love from God that's coming through this podcast. So that's where this comes from. And he wakes me up every single day with the desire to help you, to give you what you need to get through one more day, to know that you are worthy, to know that the person who really loves you will fall in love with the real you, and you won't have to be anything but yourself. And relax. Your everyday life is plenty for the person that is whole, that is ready, that doesn't need the drama, that just wants you, and that is satisfied with the regular everyday, because you and your regular everyday are beautiful and funny and exciting and fun to be with. You're fun to be with. You're just fun to sit and have coffee with and talk about nothing. That's enough. Okay? You are enough. That's what I want you to think. When you see that word, you are enough, yes, all the little things make up one whole person with unique mannerisms and idiosyncrasies and humor and quirks and all the things that make you so beautiful. And this is what I don't want you to change. So in the Back to You Academy, really, all I tell you is I tell you you're like a tight rosebud. Your petals are already there. We just bring it into bloom. That's it. I'm not going to change one petal. I'm not going to tell you need to look like a different flower. You are who you are. You just need to really know how freaking great you are and how beautiful you are. And that is the journey. And once you get secure in that, then everything else is downhill from there. So I love you so much. I can't wait to talk to you next. If you want to join the Back to You Academy, go to gumballlove.com. You can click on the link in my Instagram bio or just message me on Instagram, or you can send me an email, melissa@gumballlove.com. Until next time, I'll see you soon.